The 22 immutable laws of marketing, violate them at your own risk. RIES and TROUT. Dedicated to the elimination of myths and misconceptions from the marketing process. 1. The law of leadership. 2. The law of the category. 3. The law of the mind. 4. The law of perception. 5. The law of focus. 6. The law of exclusivity. 7. The law of the ladder. 8. The law of duality. 9. The law of the opposite. 10. The law of division. 11. The law of perspective. 12. The law of line extension. 13. The law of sacrifice. 14. The law of attributes. 15. The law of candor. 16. The law of singularity. 17. The law of unpredictability. 18. The law of success. 19. The law of failure. 20. The law of hype. 21. The law of acceleration. 22. The law of resources. Introduction. Billions of dollars have been wasted on marketing programs that couldn't possibly work, no matter how clever or brilliant, or how big the budgets. Many managers assume that a well-designed, well-executed, well-financed marketing program will work. It's not necessarily so. And you don't have to look further than IBM, General Motors, and Sears, Roebuck to find examples. The tools and techniques used at Sears, Roebuck might have been right, sometimes even spectacular. And the managers who ran the GM programs might have been the best and the brightest. Certainly the best and the brightest people traditionally have been attracted to the biggest and the best companies, like GM and IBM. But the programs themselves were based on assumptions that were flawed. John Kenneth Galbraith, when asked what he believed was America's perception of the country's giant corporations, said that we feared corporate power. Today, we fear corporate incompetence. 1. The law of leadership. It's better to be first than it is to be better. 2. The law of the category. If you can't be first in a category, set up a new category you can be first in. 3. The law of the mind. It's better to be first in the mind than to be first in the marketplace. 4. The law of perception. Marketing is not a battle of products, it's a battle of perceptions. 5. The law of focus. The most powerful concept in marketing is owning a word in the prospect's mind. 6. The law of exclusivity. Two companies cannot own the same word in the prospect's mind. 7. The law of the ladder. The strategy to use depends on which rung you occupy on the ladder. 8. The law of duality. In the long run, every market becomes a two-horse race. 9. The law of the opposite. If you are shooting for second place, your strategy is determined by the leader. 10. The law of division. Over time, a category will divide and become two or more categories. 11. The law of perspective. Marketing effects take place over an extended period of time. 12. The law of line extension. There's an irresistible pressure to extend the equity of the brand. 13. The law of sacrifice. You have to give up something in order to get something. 14. The law of attributes. For every attribute, there is an opposite, effective attribute. 15. The law of candor. When you admit a negative, the prospect will give you a positive. 16. The law of singularity. In each situation, only one move will produce substantial results. 17. The law of unpredictability. Unless you write your competitors' plans, you can't predict the future. 18. The law of success. Success often leads to arrogance and arrogance to failure. 19. The law of failure. Failure is to be expected and accepted. 20. The law of hype. The situation is often the opposite of the way it appears in the press. 21. The law of acceleration. Successful programs are not built on fads, they're built on trends. 22. The law of resources. Without adequate funding, an idea won't get off the ground. We would be remiss if we did not warn our readers about the potential dangers of trying to apply the laws of marketing within an existing organization. Many of these laws fly in the face of corporate ego, conventional wisdom, and the Malcolm Baldrige Awards. The law of perception runs counter to the corporate culture of most companies, where trying to be better is deeply ingrained. People are forever running around and benchmarking the leader in the category and then setting out to beat their specs. It's what the quality movement is all about. The law of leadership is tough for many to swallow. Most people want to believe they got to the top by being better, not by being first. So beware. Management won't take kindly to any suggestions that will take the emphasis off their better product strategy. The law of sacrifice could cause you problems. Offering everything for everybody is deeply ingrained in most organizations. If you have any doubts, just Stroll down the aisles of any supermarket. What you will find is variation upon variation of sizes, flavors, and forms. It boggles the mind. Why this happens is painfully obvious. Nobody wants to focus. Large companies have offices filled with young, bright marketing people. Do you expect them to just sit there and do nothing? They feel compelled to tinker and make improvements. After all, how can they make their mark on the organization? So beware. Those young, bright marketing people will not take kindly to any efforts to curtail their tinkering. The law of focus suggests owning a word in the prospects' minds. What word does your company own in the minds of your prospects? I don't know, might be your response. We make a variety of products for many different industries. So beware. You have some pruning to do, which isn't going to be easy to sell to the powers that be. The law of perspective will frustrate anyone looking for quick marketing victories. Companies want to see instant results. So beware. Those accountants will give you a hard time in the short term. The law of line extension is the most dangerous law of all to deal with. In this case, you have to be prepared to demolish what management holds to be a basic truth. Big successful brands have an equity that can be exploited to encompass different kinds of products. Line extension makes eminent sense in the boardroom. You won't find one director in a dozen who would be willing to challenge management on this critical issue. So, beware. Management will not take kindly to any efforts to curtail their equity expansions. You may just have to wait them out. Management is mutable, but the laws of marketing are not. Thus are you duly warned. If you violate the immutable laws, you run the risk of failure. If you apply the immutable laws, you run the risk of being bad-mouthed, ignored, or even ostracized. Have patience. The immutable laws of marketing will help you achieve success. And success is the best revenge of all.